Alright, sorry to leave everyone on a teaser last week, a cliffhanger, but I didn't want to overrun too much because I want to keep everything kind of the same length so I can fit all the episodes I want to record into the amount of time that I want to record in. And I'm just gonna keep whinging about my Mitsubishi being slow. This episode, um, not really. Come on, I'm better than that. I've already had my whinge about the Evo 7 not being as good as the 6.5 hill climb car, which, I mean, should have been painfully obvious to everyone from before I even started driving it. It also should have been painfully obvious to everyone that I wasn't going to be able to get this event done before 15 minutes was up because of the track with 3 miles. The track was 3 miles long, not 0.75, like the last crossover event track was. So, I mean, already things are getting a little bit longer. Might even go down to only being able to complete one thing in an episode, which is what I wanted to change, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Anyway, I'm beating this guy handily, so. And he's driving a Seat. Seat rally cars I like as well, but I'll probably, those aren't in the official WRC games for some reason. So I'll probably end up driving a Seat in V-Rally 3 or something. Again, as usual, I'm just thinking way too far ahead. This is Rallisport Challenge is literally the Forza Motorsport of rally games. So I need to relax and, just drive what I want to drive when I want to drive it. And then when it comes to games where I have to, sign contracts and only drive one car for a whole season, that's when I should sit around debating which car I want to drive. But until then, it doesn't matter. I can just pick whatever I want, whenever I want to pick it. Well, as long as it fits into the right class, I guess. Also, I don't want to bang the red line coming over jumps. I learned not to do that when I was 12, and I made a video on MX vs ATV Reflex, comparing the 252 stroke to the 254 stroke, and I just held the throttle down because I was 12 and I didn't know anything about how American motocross worked. So I just went off. I would go off jumps, hold the throttle down. I wouldn't do any like whips and stuff except if it was part of doing a stunt. And then the one comment I got was the sound is annoying. Although that was probably referring to my voice, my 12-year-old voice. Right, rallying. Haven't got the Cordoba. How do I get that? Novice Rally. It says to complete Novice Rally Unlimited, which is this one. What do I get for completing this event? Novice Rally Open. Anything? Nope, nothing. So, to get the Seat, I need to complete this event. Or I could just do another crossover, I guess. No, let's go rallying. The Seat I didn't like when I used it in a crossover. The Mitsubishi I've just used and didn't like. So we're back to using the Hyundai. In Sweden. Sweden is definitely the worst environment in dirt rally. There was a daily event recently recently for me. By the time this video gets uploaded, it will have been weeks and weeks ago, and everyone will have forgotten. But there was an event driving the Lancia 037 through Sweden, and I mean, the Lancia 037 is already undrivable in that game. The rest of the Group B cars are fine. The Group B rear-wheel drive class in dirt rally is definitely the worst one. The cars are just fucking... I mean, oh wow, Group B cars were difficult to drive, blah, blah, blah. The Audi Quattro is fine when it was a pig in real life. Oh, a little bit narrow through the covered bridge there. Wasn't expecting that out of this game. Yeah, it pissed me off, and I got a shitty time because I'm pretty sure dirt rally has magnetic snowbanks at the side of the track. 'Cause I don't feel like I was driving towards them, but the game was pretty adamant that, you know, I was steering straight into them. And they only go soft and suck you in if you're driving the right way. If you like try and drive into a snowbank head on, it's like a brick wall, which I find is pretty funny. Well, not really. It's kind of irritating when you have to try and right yourself because you've Austin powered your Lancia for the 15th time and you can't get out of the predicament you're in because the road is too narrow. And you don't want to hit reset because that'll take even more time away from you than you've already lost. I flipped over the Lancia in that event, and I was sat there on my roof for a full 10 seconds before the game reset me, and then it gave me a penalty on top of that. And, you know, when your stages are like 2-3 minutes long, 15-second penalty is fucking ridiculous. If they'd actually modeled like full, like instead of having the 10-kilometer stages be like the highlight main event, if the 10-kilometer stages were like the majority of the game, then maybe 15 seconds wouldn't be too bad, but it's not. And most of the stages in the game are 3 kilometers long, and it's just chunks of the bigger stage. You know, it really does activate my almonds. I'm not into doing the single player of Dirt Rally at all. I only load the game up to do the daily and weekly events, and sometimes post against the times set on the league of the forum I partake in, because there aren't any cross-platform leagues, even though it's literally just times. There's no cross-platform, so yeah, whatever. I do the races and I, you know, post the time that I got, and either I get a response that's like, hey, you did pretty alright, or I get, you're a fucking shitter, never play a game again. And you know, if the time is slow, you know, as long as you're not, you know, actually a shitter and just posting shit times all the time, and then like, you know, you get really defensive and stuff, yeah, you know, I think I deserve to be called a shitter sometimes. I never get called a shitter when I'm not being a shitter, you know, so it all works out in the end. What's kind of weirding me out about the rallies in this game is that they all seem to be 3 stages. And the first stage and the third stage are in the same country, but the second stage is somewhere completely random, and I haven't quite figured out why that is. Maybe it's to break up the scenery a little bit. You know, because the first game put all the rallies in the same place. Although they weren't real places. Instead of being, you know, instead of being called like Rally Australia, it was Desert something or other. You know what I mean? So, yeah. This game is much better than the first one, by the way. You know, I haven't... Oh, shit. I haven't got to the bit where it gets hard yet, obviously. I'm still driving in Novice. And my opponents are like 20, 30 seconds backwards down the road. Well, this rally stage is shorter than the crossover event I did at the beginning of the episode. Weird. But yeah, I'm not at the hard bit yet, and the hard bit... But it wasn't that it was the hard bit that was pissing me off about Rallisport Challenge 1. It was the fact that physics were fucking shit and unpredictable. You didn't know what was going to happen. But this game feels loads more dialed in. He says, nearly smacking into a bunch of really big compomotive signs he should have seen about 10 years before he got anywhere close to them. But yeah, compared to Rallisport Challenge 1, especially so far, this game is a masterpiece. Probably is the best rally game of 2004. Name another rally game that came out in 2004, and I'll try and figure out some kind of argument as to why this is better. I guess WRC 4 came out the same year as this. Colin McRae 04 probably came out the same year as well. But WRC 4 I think would be, in terms of rallying, WRC 4, is better, but it has less content overall. And Colin McRae 04, I haven't really played enough of to have a real opinion on it. I've got it sitting up on the shelf, so when I'm done recording today, I'll have a bit of a play with it. I think 04 is the first Colin McRae game that doesn't force you to play as Colin, but I'm not sure. I'll have to make sure, because the main, I haven't played I haven't got a PS1, so obviously I haven't played 2.0 or 1, but I've played a fair bit of 3, and I know that the main championship mode forces you to drive as Colin, which isn't too bad. I like Colin McRae. He's a cool guy. The Ford Focus, cool rally car. Drove it all the time when I was a baby boy playing Ford Racing 2. Know it like the back of my hand. Speaking of knowing things like the back of my hand, there was an event, a daily event on Dirt Rally, driving the Ford RS200. I think it was in Wales, and for a little while, I was the third fastest in the world on that. And I put that all down to being, I think I should be able to fit a rallycross event into this short amount of time I've got left on this episode, surely. Hopefully it won't end up like last time. I haven't driven a I'm getting a little bit antsy. I haven't driven a Hyundai in long enough. I'm gonna jump in one again. Yeah, it's a half-mile track. I'll complete this easily. Yeah, and I put down me being so fast in the RS200 to it being in Ford Racing 2 and Ford Racing 3, and me just being used to the car, which is obviously, I'm joking, because the physics of Ford Racing are literally nothing at all like the physics of Dirt Rally. That's, I don't know, I shouldn't even have explained that. It would have probably been stupid easy for someone to figure out on their own, unless they were clinically retarded. But hey, sometimes you get the occasional Jewish lawyer come along and take your words at individual value rather than what you actually mean, even though they know, and you know that they know what the fuck you meant, but they're just gonna misconstrue you deliberately to try and sue you because they're Jewish and that's what they do. I'm not an anti-Semite, I swear. Hey, that guy's got a different livery from me. Guess I just haven't driven the Hyundai enough. I need to drive it more. Because that's how you unlock paint schemes in this game. PGR, like I said in that other episode, I'm still not sure. Ah, fuck. This has really been happening a lot in the Rallycross events so far in this recording session. I pull off the perfect lap, pretty much, in qualifying, and then when it comes to the actual race, I just shit it up all over the road. And I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe it's the pressure of all this competition that the AI are putting up. Anyway, that should be this week's episode. I'm not sure what it'll be next week. Yeah, no, next week will be the crossover that I was looking at, the one in Australia. And then I'll do that rally event that I saw that unlocks the Seat, because I like Seat a lot, and I want to, be able to drive more cars Because I always want to be able to drive more cars. Oh, I did the rallycross because it was short. All right, next week crossover, and then I'll get that Sayat that I want.